Hey everybody, welcome back to another round of Flight Club.
Hey guys, Jeff here with Jeff's Custom RC, and tonight we have a very special guest with us on Flight Club, and it is Mr. Cody Adair. That a lot of you guys probably know. I built the Smart Case 4, and Cody works for Horizon Hobby in their marketing department, and he reached out to me a few months back and asked me about building a Smart Case, and as you can see, guys, here it is. So, with no further ado, thank you for being here tonight, Cody. I appreciate it, man, and
Yeah, man, thank
welcome.
you.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on for sure.
Our pleasure. We saw on Ryan's show the other night. I think everybody kind of heard your background and your story, but if you'd like to, touch on that again, since we don't have Mr. Jason here with us tonight, we'll
Oh
give
yeah,
you more platform.
I can give you a 60-second background. So as Jeff was mentioning, guys, if you didn't catch Ryan's show, I've been with Horizon going on 10 years now, and I've pretty much been in every position at that company except for an executive level position. I started at distribution center driving a forklift, and from there I went into product support, and product support I worked there for about 6 years. I was a team lead in that department, and I worked with pretty much every product that Horizon's come out with over the years. And then from that point, just last year, Jason brought me on board as the brand manager for the E-Flight team. So I worked directly under Jason, been there for a year, and it's been awesome. Love the company, love everything about aviation in general. I grew up next to an airport, here in Urbana, Illinois. It's Frasca Airport, and I've just been passionate about aviation ever since. My parents got me an Air Hog when I was little. From there, went into the Hobby Zone. The Firebird Commander, went from that, and then just kept growing after that. At 18 years old, I applied at Horizon, and then the rest is history. I've been working there pretty much my whole adult life. So,
Hey man, that's awesome, and Horizon Hobby is a great company. I think everybody out there would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been flying Spectrum for a long time, radio. I think Dustin does as well. Most of the guys at our field do. And now that the smart technology has come along, it's just really revolutionizing the industry. I started in this hobby about 9 years ago, and I started out with a simple Spectrum DX8 radio. And what I've seen this industry do, and how it's grown over the past 9 years has just been amazing with the technology, the receivers, the radios, how they talk to you. They have internet on them now. You can order a pizza and fly your plane at the same time. You can watch YouTube. It's just amazing, and you guys are going in incredible directions. So tell us a little bit about where you're headed and what your thoughts are right now as far as where the company's going.
well, I mean, Horizon is doing a lot of innovative things going in the future. We have a lot of stuff coming up that's really going to be groundbreaking, not only in technology but in the aircraft industry as well. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming. I can't really give any secrets away, but COVID-19 hasn't really helped the industry at all. I think RC in general, from every company standpoint, has had difficulty with this virus. I mean, a lot of the stuff has come from China, if not most of it, and we've had delays. Our goal was to come out with like 2 or 3 air-related items a month. We were going to release 2 or 3 airplanes a month. That was the goal. And now, things are getting pushed back to like 1 a month, or maybe 1 or 2 a month. So definitely some struggle here in the first quarter for Horizon. But we're a strong company. We've invested in the right way, in my opinion, and we'll get through it as everybody else will. So we still have a lot of cool stuff coming to you guys. So really cool stuff.
Fantastic.
Well, that's what I say. Me and Dustin were talking about the other day. We both love to have that 64 millimeter A10. I think Dustin, you said you'd like to have that as well, right?
Yeah, so the A10 is like by far my favorite bird other than the B-17. So Cody, do me a favor. B-17, like, I know you guys made a UMX, and I actually tried to find one because I just only been in a hobby for about a year and a half. And my first plane was a Carbon Cub S Plus, the yellow and gray one. And it basically just taught myself. Got up at a field, had a mentor, then met up with Jeff, and he's been a mentor as well. And within, I don't know, 9 months, I had like 26 planes. It was
Kid just
bad.
having fun.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But no,
So
those are my favorite two planes, and that 64 is definitely on my list. On my list
well,
to
the
get.
64 millimeter A10 in my opinion hits a sweet spot for most people. Just in the size, it's also
Mhm.
6S capable, retracts, flaps, somewhat scale, over 100 mile per hour in level flight. You know, it's an awesome airplane, and I would agree. I'm a huge Warbird fan. A10 and bombers are probably my favorite aircraft to
Mhm.
fly. The problem with twin engine and multi engine aircraft is the cost
Cost.
associated with them. That's the biggest thing. And while I think the B 17 name itself would sell, but you're looking at an airplane that we would probably want to do at least a 60-inch wingspan or greater, and the cost for something like that is going to be over $500 for
Yeah.
sure. And especially in a time like right now, it's hard to sell an airplane over $500 like that. Yes, you can justify it that it's a twin or a quad engine setup. It's still people aren't always going to spend that
Right.
kind of money on an airplane. So I've always pushed PD to do those twin and those 4 engine airplanes because I think they're super cool.
Well, and it's like too, like the B-25 from FMS. When I was transitioning from like getting comfortable as far as flying like Warbirds, because my second plane was a P-47, and I didn't fly it for a few months. And once I flew it, got comfortable with it, like I just shot off like a rocket as far as buying other Warbirds. But I was about to buy it, and then I got word that they were discontinuing it. I believe it was like on Horizon's website. It may have been, and I'm kind of like a stickler where I don't want to buy something that's about to go or is in the discontinuing phase because
Right.
mishaps is going to happen. Every plane has its expiration date, and to be able to get parts for it was something that kind of turned me away. Even though my local hobby shop had one, and every time I go in there, Chris would be like, you want that B-25. I'm like, I know, but he's like, it's all good, man. He's like, you want it. You want it every time. And then there was one time where I came in, and he gave me like a killer deal on it. But kind of a side note is I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I had bought a new insulin pump, and I was like, if you'd done this like a month and a half ago, I would have done it. But I just bought a
Oh
new
man.
pump, so I was like, I really don't need to be spending a lot of money right now.
No, you
Yeah.
got-
What's more important, man?
yeah, exactly.
No,
That's right.
talking about stuff that's on the way out or getting discontinued. Just a quick funny story. If anybody in the chat remembers the Hangar 9 B-25, we had a giant scale B-25 at one point, and in product support when I first started there, they had one. It had been discontinued when I first started, so this was almost probably 8 years ago or so, and they had one out there that they had pulled brand new from inventory, but it was pulled because of people who might need parts. They invest $1,000 in this airplane as a balsa kit, no electronics, no anything, just a balsa kit, and they got to put another 2 or 3 grand in it to make it fly. So we had pulled a brand new one from stock, and it sat up there my entire 6 years of being in product support. And we had, when Hobbyco had filed for bankruptcy, we were actually transitioning, moving our entire company into that other building. And I looked my boss right in the face, and I go, that plane ain't going to make it to the other building. It's been sitting 6 years. I'm taking that airplane. And they let me take it. And I got home, and I put maybe, I think I put like 18 hours into that plane, and I actually keep it. It's fully ready to go 100%. It's got twin gas engines in there, fully scale. I do want to do some doctoring up the wings and make it look a little, more scale by putting some, the Fay or the customizations on it. But, it's a really cool airplane. And then I had a landing out at RC Fest last year in front of a crowd of 2,000. I landed and my right gear collapsed on me, and it broke the nacelle on the wing. So I was down. I had to refiberglass it. And when I got my marketing job, if you guys know who Dustin Bisher is, he's the director of Spectrum. And he goes, man, I remember that crash. Man, that sucked. The whole airplane was good except for that nacelle. And he's like, well, you're lucky. I bought one of those 10 years ago. I never built it. You can have it. And he just gave it to me. He just gave this to me.
Bonus.
Like, oh my gosh. The RC gods want me to have this airplane. So I rebuilt it. Now it kind of just sits, and it's one of those airplanes that goes out maybe once a year with me. But it's a super fun plane to have out there when I do go, though.
It's awesome.
Well,
Hey, Dustin, give us a roll call, man. I saw we have Pilot Ryan and some guys in here tonight. Give us a roll call. What's going on, man?
Well, I would say when you guys, if you ever come out with a B-17 or a E-Flight B-25, I and a number of other people would be the first guys because there's something about bombers that's very cool, and there's something else about bombers that is cool is you get these guys that are sticklers about flying scale. So I was at a flying event with a B-17 from Hobby King, and anyhow I was flying it doing a pattern. I went vertical full power and then like just did a hammerhead. And I was like, oh, that's not scale. And the guys around me started cracking up laughing because there's like these 4 guys behind us that, like, if you didn't fly scale, they would ride you about it because they were just that type of flyer. So you see this massive, like, 60-inch wingspan B-17 going up doing hammerhead, coming back down, and we had a good old time. But we got 47 people in here. We've got, of course, Dennis Farley, Jackson, Northeast FPV, GB Linden. Wow, sorry, GB.
Yeah, what's up, GB?
I'm sorry, I couldn't say weathering earlier either for some reason.
We got Mr. Guniak, we got Shadow Ops, we've got Michael Raja, the Air Marshal, who can we that guy. Ethan RC. We got Mr. Pilot Ryan Media. We got your wife.
My son, Devin.
And I saw Mary Boozer in here a second ago.
Yeah, Boozer was in here as well. I saw that too. Hope you guys are doing well.
And Eric, and we got some new people that I've been handing out wrenches to. Spencer Keith, I think, was one of them. Bruce Bremer, he's one of them. So appreciate all you guys coming in and hanging out with us this evening.
Definitely, guys. We appreciate it very much. And again, I'm thrilled to have Cody here. Could not believe when Ryan had a show on one night. It's been several months back, probably about 5 months ago. It was before Christmas. And Ryan was actually debuting the smart chargers for Cody and Horizon Hobby. And just on a whim, I just said, hey, Ryan, let me make you a case for those chargers. Never expected anything from it. And next thing I know, Cody, he reached back to me in the chat and he said, hey, I'm interested. What can you do? Do you have a video or pictures? And I was like, well, yeah, I've got a video on my channel of a case I built for myself. So I sent him a link. And next thing I know, I get a hit in my Gmail at Jeff's Custom RC, and he's talking to me about it. And so here we are. I mean, I was just blown away, and I'm honored to do this for you, man.
And again, for everybody that's seen this case, if you've seen Jeff's video, this thing he blew my mind on this case, guys. And I kind of want to go into detail a little more about how that turned out. So as he mentioned, 5 months ago, I was working with Ryan on the smart chargers, and I met Jeff through Ryan's channel. And, Jeff's Custom RC, who wouldn't want to go check out that channel, right? It's got custom stuff. I'm all about that. So I swing over there. I see this case that he made. It's got an A10. It's all lit up. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And he was talking about making it for Ryan. So I was like, okay, let's see what he could do. So I sent him a whole complete care package of smart stuff, just a bunch of equipment, a bunch of adapters, battery, just a bunch of stuff, and I was like, have at it. I have no expectation. And he would always say, how about this or how about that? I'm like, Jeff, the sky's the limit, man. Whatever you want to do, 100% do what you want to do. And this is the outcome, guys. I had no hand in this whatsoever. Jeff and his wife completely teamed up and killed this case. I had, again, no expectations. There was some downtime on it. Well, I think it took like 3 or 4 months for it to come, which is totally okay. Again, I'm not in a rush and I wasn't in a hurry. And things like this take time. This is engineering at its finest, in my opinion. Everything goes together perfectly. He's made it to where if something fails on it, all I got to do is take a couple screws out and I can swap it out. I mean, it's so user-friendly. It's almost like this was done from a distribution standpoint. Like you get this from, say, like Horizon, you get one of our airplanes, you get it together, you put a couple screws in it, you charge a battery, you go fly. That's how I look at this case. I don't have to do anything to it. I unbox it, it powers up, it works. It's super easy to replace stuff in it. It's like total quality from what you would expect from like a company. So again, Jeff, publicly thank you. This thing turned out amazing. And for those of you watching, Jeff is totally willing to make more of these, not to be a salesman on his channel here, but he is totally willing to make something like this for you guys. Whether you want to have your name on it, whether you want the identical case, whether you want different chargers, a single charger, smaller case, they can do it, guys. And if you give them the time, they'll make it right, and they'll do a wonderful job. I mean, this case is perfect. I mean, it's exactly what we wanted. Everybody at Horizons that's seen it has loved it. I mean, there's interest across the entire company with these. So we're really excited.
Well, thank you, man. I'm honored and we're humbled to do this for you, and for Horizon and Spectrum as well. And yeah, like you were saying, we can custom design a case to whatever somebody likes. I had a couple of people reach out to me after you put this up on Facebook, and they were asking me, well, if I don't want all the bells and whistles, can I do just a lower deck built around the smart chargers? Absolutely. We had guys asking us, could I do the 1500 series charger, the DC charger with a separate power supply? Absolutely. My charge case that I built for myself actually has a separate power supply. This particular case that we built for Cody is the S2100 dual chargers that are basically 2 times 500 watts is what you've got with these. And they can charge your smart packs, or as we say, your dumb packs, either or.
Right.
You have your LED lighting, your integrated USB ports for charging your smart devices, your cameras, things like that. And it's just very user friendly. And yes, if there's a problem, like if Cody needs to do an update on either of these chargers down the line, you take the top deck out, you lift it up, you flip it over, and I sent Cody pictures of the inside with the Jeff's Custom RC logo that my wife came up with that is phenomenal. You take that plate off, you lift up your chargers, you buy the Link, I guess, Cody, a cord that plugs into your data port on the charger.
Right.
And you can update it with the latest updates and things like that, put it right back in, you're ready to go again. Another thing, that we really talked about, my wife and I, they make these cases smaller. So if you guys just wanted a case built around one particular charger, for guys that fly drones, UMX, and you just want to be able to take a small case to the field and fly, we can do that. We're also talking with Cody about building a case that you can press on it and it opens, and you can put all your connectors and things in a small compartment that houses that as well. I had a guy ask me today, Cody, on an email. He said, are these cases Pelicans or are they knockoffs? So I'm going to go ahead and touch on that because you and I spoke of that earlier in the process of building this. First of all, Pelican cases or Nanook cases, which are incredible cases, I take nothing from them. They are a lot more expensive than these cases. This case is an Apache 4800. They come from Harbor Freight. They also are waterproof, rigid. They're incredible cases, guys. And when you're looking at keeping costs down, being price effective, and you're talking a case alone, just a shell, that's going to be $250 versus $55 or $60. I mean, I'll build it in a Pelican or a Nanook case if the case is what moves you. But I'm just saying, from a standpoint of trying to keep price point down and still give you an incredible product, these cases get 5 stars. If you read the reviews on them, they compared them against the Pelicans and the Nanooks. They got a 5-star rating. They're incredible cases. So if you want a $250 case versus a $50 case, well, yes, sir, I can build you that case with that particular case. Mm-hmm. But it's going to drive up the price. So we're trying to keep the price point down because, yes, they are expensive. There's a lot of work that goes into this. My wife, building these CAD and CAM files takes a lot of time. These guys, where if you look at this case that Cody's got here, where you have your EC3 or your IC3, your IC5 connectors, your pair board, everything in here is within thousandths of tolerance. If it's not, you're going to have slop. Things are going to fall out. It's not going to fit properly. I don't want that personally, so I'm not going to sell you that either. So it takes time to build these files. My wife has got hours into designing these.
Thank you, Derek.
Yes, exactly. Very much so. Thank you. Because I could not have done this without her. I can draw it. I can visualize it. I can give her the plans. But I can't build this without her doing the CAD and CAM files and telling this CNC machine what to do. So that being said, guys, I can build whatever you want. If you want a Pelican, you want a Nanook, I can do it. Not a problem. But in keeping price down, these cases, I will say, they're incredible cases, and I take nothing from them. So just
just to give a 2 cents on that, I couldn't tell the difference between a Pelican in this case, honestly. I have a Pelican case. I have a Pelican case for my drone, so this is good enough for me. And I think if we decide to get a couple more from you for marketing purposes, these are totally fine. I don't see why anybody would have any issues with this whatsoever. So.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, man. I went to the website. Matter of fact, today to do some looking into this, and I can send anybody a link that wants it. A Nanook case this size is going to cost around 180 to 200, and a Pelican is going to cost around the same price range, give or take $50. If you go up to the next size, you're talking 250 just for the case. I can't justify it, guys. I mean, I'm not going to be dropping mine in water. I don't know about you guys. I'm not going to be dropping my case really anyway. So
it's just the added insurance of it being impact resistant, your O-rings, and just to kind of touch on the case with my background. And as most of you guys know, that I'm a machinist, and I used to build rifles. Used to build custom bolt action rifles, and I've got 2 that I used to do competitions with. When we travel, I use a Pelican case, and this is before Apache came out. Now guys are using Apache to store their $6,000+ bolt rigs, because your scope is like $2,500, your receiver is about another $1,500, your stock is another $1,000 to $1,500 easy. So it's a very expensive item to be carrying around. But you can't argue that the Apache is a lesser quality than the Pelican, because it's the application. I mean, again, I've got one that I use for my batteries and that I use for my radio. So, and I've dropped. Full admittedly, I've dropped my case with my radio because I was trying to carry too much stuff at one time.
The thing about it is, Dustin, most of these cases, whether it's Pelican, Nanook, or Apache, they're all made of polypropylene.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't change but so much with polypropylene. It's going to be what it is. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, man, I've done the research on all these cases, and for the price point, I'm just saying.
So So just to touch on some of the questions here in the comments. So Dennis Farley wanted to know how much this case costs. So there's a lot of factors in that. The chargers that I use, the S2100s alone, you're looking at right around $300 or $400. There's another $100 or so in the connectors. Then you got to factor in the cost of materials, and then you also have to factor in Jeff's time. So it depends on what you're wanting, Dennis. This case right here, the expense on this, you're probably looking at between $1,500 probably on average of what you're looking at for Jeff's time, all of the electronics, all of the work. And if you compare that to other people in the market who are doing the same thing, that's on the low end. There's other companies out there who are doing this as a business specifically that charge a lot more for something like this. So keep that in mind. And also think about the quality too. I mean, this case, I wish you guys could see it in person. This case is absolutely amazing. Definitely, again, if you haven't seen Jeff's video on it, definitely look at it. But to answer your question, Dennis, it really comes down to what you're looking for, man. If you're wanting to go the S2100 route, be prepared to. If you want a dual case like this, you're going to be looking at just $500 or $600 in electronics alone, not including what Jeff's going to be doing on his end, adding all the material, the case, things like that. Okay, so it does get pretty costly, but this case is going to be so easy for me to take to my field and use. And also the reason why, we have it looking like this is because when we go to events and we prop this open and light it up, people are going to be like, dang, that's really cool looking. They're going to come over here and talk to us about it. And I wanted it like that because it's a good marketing standpoint, especially, for Horizon and when we go to our events. Also, it looks really cool. Again, Jeff did a great job, but you don't have to have it exactly like this. You don't have to have these chargers. You can do a single charger. I think on the low end, you could probably get, a case done for around $500. You can get a charger like a DC charger and a power supply for like $150. The case for maybe 20, $30 on a single case, smaller case, and then whatever, Jeff needs to make that happen for him. So it really just depends on what you guys are looking for. If you want all the bells and whistles, lights, fully customization, and again, this is done now. So if you got something exactly like this, Jeff can do a turnaround on this really quick because he's got all the files and templates. Tara's done all the work on the layout for it. They can turn them around pretty quick now. And those are going to be the most expensive option. If you want something more customized towards yourself, they're going to put in the extra work, the time to make the files for it. So don't expect a quick turnaround time on something like that, because if you want good quality and you expect good quality, Jeff will deliver good quality, and so will Tara. It's just going to take some time to make that happen. So just keep that in mind for what you guys are looking for.
Well, and it's like, yes, you do get what you pay for, and I try to put myself as how I would like it, how I would want it. I'm very funny about my stuff and what I have. I take good care of my stuff, and that being the case, I put my heart in everything I have, and if I'm going to do it, whether it's for me or anybody else, I want it to be right. So, and like you say, if we're doing a smaller case, somebody just wants a small grab and go for charging small, say, 2 or 3S packs, or even micro batteries, for these small Max planes.
Right.
It's no problem, and they make smaller cases, guys. I mean, so if you want something that you just grab and go, but it looks nice at the field and your charger's not flopping all around in your car, it's the way to go,
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Exactly. So, what we did at events, when we go to events at Horizon, or even myself, I'm going out and firing up my own airplanes, whether it be Giant, Scale, or an electric EDF. I'm taking out a bundle of wires and dropping stuff, and things are hanging out everywhere. This is totally flush. Everything's hidden. There's a base right here on the Spectrum board here that you can charge everything on. I can charge 6 batteries right here on the top of the case. I mean, it's so user friendly. And again, some of you guys on here are saying, no, the price is expensive. It is. But in this situation, I wanted something that had all the bells and whistles that I could take to events and show off our company, show off Jeff's work. And also that's easier for me to use on a personal level for all of my stuff. I also went with an AC route just because right now Spectrum doesn't make a smart charger that's a dual port in the DC category. If we did, I would have went DC just because I think that's a better route. You can charge a lot faster. So those are some things that you guys, if you're interested in a case, you're gonna have to make that decision for yourself. I just wanted to have 4 ports, and I'm not in a hurry to charge batteries. I usually go out with a dozen, and by the time I'm done with my first one, I'm charging it, and by the time I'm done with my last one, my first ones are done. So it's easier for me in that regard. But again, you don't have to spend.
And Cody, if you stop and think about it, man, if you're charging at 2C and you've got 4 batteries sitting there charging at 2C and you've got 4 that are previously charged,
right?
I mean, you can just about fly 4 planes while you got 4 batteries. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
absolutely.
And like at our field, man, we fly a pack and another guy will fly. So we don't sit there and fly one after the other. We'll fly, another guy will fly, another guy will fly. We kind of take turns. So therefore, the whole time I'm flying and I've got packs charged, I've got other packs cooking as well. Exactly. So, I'm not out there to fly one right after the other like this,
Right.
So,
right. And for the guy, and that's where DC comes in my opinion. Like, so we have the Spectrum 500 watt DC charger that you can charge at like 10C and have a battery done in like 20 minutes. Right. But you're charging 1 battery smart. With this, I can charge 4 batteries smart at 2 or 5C even, and they'll be charging an hour. I'm not one of those guys that the battery has to be done now. I'm okay with doing a 2 or 5C charge rate and taking 6 to 12 packs out with me. That's perfectly fine for me. And I think this turned out great, Jeff. Honestly, I think like I said, I can't tell. I will say it all the time. You guys did an amazing job, you and Tara, and I still want to do something special for you. So we'll definitely get together offline and talk about that. So, but yeah, this turned out really great.
Well, thank you. And again, we were supposed to have Ray on the show tonight, 2 guys, Guniak.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But we'll have him on next week.
Yeah, Ray, if you're out there watching, man, I got the SU sitting here with your afterburners, man, ready to go in. And, guys, Dustin makes all of the.
I don't make all of them. I don't make all of them. I make some of them. I don't want to take all the credit, right? I just take credit for what I do for him. But he's an awesome guy.
Real quick, guys. So, Michael, you said on one hand it's tough to sell $500 airplanes, and on the other hand, we're showing $1,500 chargers. So, you're absolutely right. I want to make something very clear. I wanted this because I go to events with Horizon. Horizon sends me across, the United States to go to our events and represent the company. Right. I wanted this case done like that at this price because I wanted to go that extra effort to show off not only just work, but to show off the smart scenario as well. So as everybody else has mentioned in the chat here, you get what you pay for. And with this scenario, I've hit every bell and whistle I could have asked for on this. So take that what you will. It is hard to sell a $500 airplane. It is. It's a very expensive airplane, and it is hard to sell a $1,500 charger. I don't expect that if Jeff decides to sell these chargers, I don't think he's going to do 10,000 of these cases, but he might do 5 or 6 of them, or maybe 10 of them, every couple of months. And not only is that beneficial to him on downtime, especially with COVID-19 shutting everything down right now, it gives him some downtime work to do, but it also gets his name out there. I mean, this is really quality stuff, and you got to see it to believe it, guys. I mean, it's a really awesome product, and I'm going to use it for marketing. I'm going to use it to charge my personal stuff, and I'm going to use it for marketing. So that's the reason why that price is there.
Right.
Well, and Cody, the thing about it is, it's kind of like Dustin and I were talking last night. No, this isn't for everybody. I get it, and if you're, somebody that, just wants to go out and throw your stuff on a table and charge, I get it. But good look, guys, I did that too until I built my own case. And we still have guys at our field that do that. And I take nothing from it. It works. But I personally, I like my stuff very neat and organized.
Sure.
I like to be able to close my case up, put it in my trailer or my truck. Everything's neat and contained. I don't have my chargers flopping around and beating around in my truck or my case that I'm carrying them in. That's just me. It's not for everybody. I get that.
Right.
But the smart chargers, regardless of a case or whatever, guys, they're awesome technology. And I don't like my mess to get scratched up. I don't like the screen on my charger. Look, I even put the plastic screen back on his screens when I sent him this, and there was no scratch on them. And we worked with this stuff for 3 months. And I didn't peel it off until we were ready to put them in, and then I put it right back on. So I don't like scratches on my screens, guys. So everybody's different. Some people, doesn't matter. I get it.
So just to touch on that 1 second, Jason came over and looked at this case, and he's like, when we go out to the field to use it the first time, I want to be the one to peel the plastic off. I love doing that. I love doing that. It's like one of those things that you have to do. I'm like, fine, I'll leave it off for you, Jason. Jesus. But just a little funny story, because Jason was blown away when he saw this case. He was really excited about it.
Yeah, and from somebody like myself, like if I go to an event that Cody's at, and I see this light up, right? Because the smart and the background of how it's lit up with LEDs, like it reaches out and like just slaps you, right? It's an attention grabber. It draws people in, and again, as Cody said, making it a marketing, it draws people in to talk about the smart, because a lot of people, surprisingly as you may think, don't know about the smart technology. You ask them what it is, and they're like, "What is it?"
Right.
And you try to explain it to them, and it's like myself. I'm not very good at explaining stuff via words. If I have like pictures or you're here, I can show you, and I'm better at explaining it that way. And so to have that capability is priceless.
Well, and two, the thing with the smart technology, and I can say this because I've been charging batteries for 9 years, and a lot of you guys have been doing it a lot longer than I have. But I will say, yeah, it makes for the guy like my friend at the field that we're teaching to fly and we're helping him learn. The smart technology is awesome because it's almost, you don't have to think about it as much. I mean, for me, it took me a long time to learn, well, how do I know if I'm charging at 1C, or how do I know what 2C is, and how do you know if a battery is 6S and it's a 5,000 milliamp, what is 2C, and how do I figure all that out? And I mean, there's a lot to have to learn, man. And you almost need a damn electrical degree to figure this stuff out sometimes. And, it can be overwhelming, and it can push a lot of guys away from it. So the smart technology just really helps people that are new to the hobby to have it made easier for them, and you will learn over time because you can't help but learn, especially if you're around guys that do it. But
Right.
it helps the new person coming into the hobby not be so intimidated by the charging and by the batteries because it's plug and play. You know, I
Right.
mean, it's really simple.
To your everyday user, like the guys that have been in it for 10, 20, 30 years, smart is not as impactful for them because the way that they're doing it now isn't going to change. They're still going to be able to fly their jets, they're still going to fly their airplanes, but
Right.
eventually the way smart's going is it's all going to be in an ecosystem together is the best way to put it. Your smart battery will be able to talk to the speed controller in the aircraft, it'll talk to the motor in the aircraft, it'll talk to the receiver in the aircraft, it'll report all that data back to your transmitter. If you have like a Generation 2 transmitter, one of the newer ones like the 9 or the 8 or above, you can get audio callouts from like, the RPM of your motor, the battery, battery remaining, volts remaining, the timer essentially is going to go by the wayside. So what we're seeing right now is the smart is definitely taken the industry by storm, but it's been slower for some people because the people that had spent $150 per eFlight 6S pack doesn't want to spend a whole another $150 on every pack they need to put in their inventory to transition to smart. So they're still using their eFlight batteries, and that's totally understandable. Those batteries are $150 a piece. They're very expensive. We don't expect you to spend, X amount of dollars on 10 batteries and a smart system. It's just a huge expense that people usually build up over time. Right. So eventually, over time, people will transition to this because Horizon, more and more of our products are going to come out with the smart ecosystem. It'll have the 637T receiver in it. It'll have the telemetry capable speed controller that backfeeds all that information back to your transmitter. I mean, there's features there that you're going to want, not necessarily need, but you're going to want as it grows with you, which is certainly going to be a better experience than the older stuff. Right. It's kind of like, in my opinion, the way I kind of compare it to is if you have a car that's got a cassette player in it, and for the first time you go to somebody that's got like an aux cord or a CD player or something, you can play whatever you want instead of having to switch out tapes. You can still play the music. It's just different ways of playing the music. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I like to compare smart in a way. It'll take some time for people to transition to it, but once you're in it and you start building up your battery, arsenal, and you have the chargers, you're really going to see the benefits of it going forward.
Well, and it's just like, Chris Wolf did a great video last week on the smart technology. I personally, I would love to get more into the telemetry with my radio talking to me, with the battery, with the receiver, with everything while I'm flying, like you said, so I don't have to, even though my radio does call out, I don't have that stuff hooked up yet. So I would love to have more of that incorporated into my radio as well. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Michael, you asked your Horizon Hobby customer, you love your eFlight planes. What do you think is the best way to get into smart tech? Personally, it depends on how much you want to invest right off the bat. Personally, I like the S2100 AC charger. It's a dual port smart charger. It allows you to do everything you need to do in the smart ecosystem. It is dual port and it's AC, so you can just plug it into your wall, super user friendly, ready to go. Now, you can also start with a DC charger. We have the S1200, which is a single port DC charger. You can use that. It's very basic. It's literally, it's half the size of my iPhone 8. It's very small, and it's a lot cheaper. But you'll also need a DC power supply that work. I think if you're a complete novice, I wouldn't go DC because there's a lot of extra wires, a lot of extra things you have to do. I would go with something that you can just plug right in the wall and you're done. And I would say the S2100 would be something that you could start with, and it would carry you into the smart ecosystem for a long while to come. That's probably going to be like a 3 to 5 year charger for you is what I would say.
Right here.
Easily.
That is an amazing charger right there. That's what's in Cody's case.
So we got two questions. Not interrupted, Jeff. Just I want to get to these two because they're in the live stream. Michael Rogers says, I understand that, Jeff, but to me, to buy the case, cut the foam out, and your problem is over. All the bells and whistles can go.
So I can answer that one, Dustin. So in that situation, Michael, again, it comes down to what you are looking for. Right. It all comes down to what you are looking for. If you're looking for a case that you can cut 2 square holes in it, put your chargers in it, and be done, you don't need any bells and whistles, you're looking at, the cost of electronics and Jeff's hour of time, that's probably going to cost you $500, including with electronics. I mean, it's not expensive. It's super simple to do. And think about it. That's 2 chargers. The 2 chargers alone, you're looking at $350, $400.
Right.
So for $600, that's the case in Jeff's time, because all he's got to do is make 2 holes, put the chargers in there, and you're done. So it really comes down to what you're looking for, honestly.
Right.
And Mikey B, he says, Jeff, do you think you'll ever make a do-it-yourself package? Since you have the CAD files for the panels and etc., that could be installed by the purchaser.
Well, I mean, the problem with that is, guys, and I'll tell you this. Now, here's the one difference in your cases, okay? Your Apache cases do not have anywhere to screw in a deck. So I had to modify that. I had to build that. I had to custom design that. Whereas your Nanook cases, they have holes around for screws to go in, but you've got to make sure your decks line up with those holes. Now, again, you're talking a $50 case or a $250 case that already has holes molded into it.
Right.
Okay, so I'm trying to keep costs down, okay, guys? So that's your difference there. Yes, I could definitely go buy you a $250 case, cut you a deck, for your chargers to mold into the back, put your plate across the back, boom, you're done. But you're back to square one with your price point because your case is $250. Mm-hmm. So, and that's cost on the case. That's me not, I can show you, if you go to the website, you can see that case is $250. I'm not disclosing anything that I don't want you guys to see. That's what it costs me. So, I'm not a distributor for the case. I don't get them at wholesale. That's what it would cost me to buy that case. So, again, do you want a $50 case that looks the same when it's finished? Or do you want to start out with a $250 case that I've got to add that to the price of your finished product? Doesn't matter to me. You know?
Right. And keep in mind, guys, this is not a business necessarily for Jeff. This was something that he did because I asked him to. I had no expectations, and this is what I got from it. So, is he willing to do it for other people? Absolutely. I mean, does he have the a time to quit his job and do it as his sole profession? Probably not. So, if you guys are interested in the case, I know Northeast FPV had mentioned it's a cool case, and he was interested in one with his logo. Jeff can do something like that.
Yes.
And he's flexible. He's flexible on his price, and it depends on how much you guys want in the case. Like I said, for Horizon and for myself, this is a good marketing piece, and this is the reason why it came out the way it was with the cost, and the cost reflects that. But I think that my investment is significantly paid for. I mean, this is a fantastic product. Hi, wife. I'm on live right now.
Hey, wife.
Yeah. But no, she's like, hey, you want to watch Game of Thrones? No, we're doing it live right now.
Oh, that's a good show, man. We need to
watch a Game of Thrones. But again, guys, his quality in this is great, and if you're interested in one, just check it out.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that,
And regardless if you have like the CAD files and whatnot, it's a time saver from somebody having to do it. Like most of you know, I'm doing the F14 kits, and a few guys have reached out that wanted to buy the battery tray mod, which is basically just a rectangle piece of balsa wood. It's got some key elements as far as where the lightning holes go and some slots for your battery straps. And I tell the guys, I'm like, look, we're selling these for $25. Like, your time is worth more than $25 because the first prototype Rich made, it took him like 4 hours to make it, and us having the capability of these machines to be able to program these and just kind of just spit them out, so to speak. The cost is small. This, but
and the thing about it is, man, Dustin, as you well know, you got a machine shop too. You're a machinist. I think you said your shop rate was what, $100 and some an hour?
Yeah, it depends. If you're having like onesie twosie stuff, because you're having to do all the cam, all the programming, all the fixturing. The fixturing, guys, is just like how you're actually going to hold the part. And if I can, I like to show them a plate that I just did, just to kind of emphasize this, if you don't mind. So this, guys, is a plate that I did. And this is a type of fixture plate for the F14 plates. Now you see that this is painter's tape, and I'm holding down a 1-inch thick by 24 by 12-inch piece of aluminum. And the thing with it is having the ability. I'm making mirror. This is a mirror finish, is what we call it in the machining world, because you can look at my spindle in the top of it. But like the cutter to do that is $800.
Right.
But the fixture to do this, I'm using painter's tape and I'm using super glue to hold this down so I can machine this. And this is just so I'm machining the bottom to make it flat. So I flip it over, put it on my table on my machine, and now I can start making my actual fixture of it. So that's kind of my my spill as far as the cost and quality
well,
of
it's
things.
like I was just saying, your machine, your rate, is expensive at your shop, and I'm nowhere near the quality of what you are as far as
Yes,
what
you
I do
are.
and what we do. But at the end of the day, guys, talking about the cost, I mean, for typical machine shop, for somebody to design something, not including materials, is about $100 an hour. Okay, and then if they have to cut the product, that's another. Their machine normally costs $100 an hour to run the machine, and then that does not include the cost of materials that the machine is cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So already you're looking at $200 an hour, not including materials. Well, I'm not in those realms yet. Don't claim to be, but it's not cheap to do what we do. And then you got to accumulate or account for your machine runtime, your bits. What they cost. Bits for these machines to cut these materials are not cheap. And like I'll just show you real quick. This particular deck, this was a prototype that we did for Cody's case. I didn't like it, so therefore we did it again. And I mean, I don't know if you can see the light going through it or not, but anyway, this is the back side of it. I've just got it stuck in here with painter's tape. This acrylic had to fit into this black piece perfectly, and I'm talking with like 0 tolerances. Guys, that's hard to do. And if you've never done it, I'm just telling you, that's a pretty big feat. So that's what I'm saying. And no, we don't expect to make the money every time we do this after the first one, but you got to balance out the time for what it costs to design it, to make it, and the bits to cut acrylic and things like that, if you do it properly, are not cheap as well. As Dustin said, some of his bits are $800 a piece. Ours are not that expensive because we're not cutting the same thing he is, but at the end of the day, our bits are not cheap either for cutting these particular types of materials. So, yeah, it's not cheap, and I know it, but it's not for everybody either. So, anybody that it is, I'll be glad to help. And I just appreciate all you guys' support. And Cody, I thank you very much for allowing me to do this, man.
Well, Jeff, you know how I feel about it, man. I love the case. I think you guys did a great job.
Thank you very much.
I did,
well, look,
absolutely.
Dustin, I don't want to keep Cody too long. We've already kept him for an hour now, man, and he's probably got things to do, and he's got to see his wife.
Yeah, she's got a honey-do list for me that I got to get done.
I get it, and we won't tie you up any longer, and we'll let you go, and then we'll wrap our show up. So I just thank you, man. Like I said, I'm humbled from the bottom of my heart. Tara is humbled. We appreciate you and all your support. And if there's anything else we can do for you or Jason or any of the guys there, please let us know. We'd love to do it. And if there's anything else you'd like to add as far as smart technology goes, please take the platform and let it roll, man.
No, like I said, guys, Jeff, Terry, again, you guys did a great job, and I really appreciate you. Totally blew me away with the case. Again, guys, in the chat, I had no expectations for this, and this is what the outcome. So if anybody in the chat wants to see specific pictures of it, you can ask myself or Jeff. I'm sure Jeff has some. I'd be happy to let you guys know the specifics on the smart side. So there are several ways you can reach out to me. Whether it be through Jeff or directly through me, it's fine, doesn't matter. But I'd be happy to tell you what I have in it, what chargers I use, what adapters I have. Things like that if you're wanting an identical case. So I have no problem doing that for you guys.
Definitely. Well, man, we appreciate you so much, and thanks for all the work you guys at Horizon Hobby are doing. Thanks for the smart technology, and go enjoy your wife, man, and thank you for being with us tonight. I really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely,
Yes, sir.
guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
see you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Take care, man.
See you guys.
All right, so Dustin, so that was awesome, man. It's always great to have Cody with us. And look, guys, I will tell you this. If any of you don't have this, you need to get you one of these, because this little checker for $39 at Horizon Hobby is amazing. It's a servo tester. You can charge your smart devices with it, your phone. You can check your battery levels. You can balance your batteries. $39, guys. All digital, color screen, worth every penny. Got to get you one. You just got one, didn't you, Dustin?
I got the servo tester and balance, because okay. So for me, I had like one of those handyman bags or tool bags, if you will. I put my charger in it, because I run two Venoms that had 2 ports on those as well, so I have 4 ports, and I hook it up to my diesel truck because it's got 2 batteries, and charge it that way when I don't have an electrical outlet. So I put all my cords in there and put all my batteries in there, and I would constantly leave my checker like somewhere else. And so I have 3 checkers. Now I have 4. And so I'm hoping now that I will not ever have to go up to somebody and be like, can I borrow your checker? How much did it actually run my battery down in it? So, yeah, so I just got that this past weekend. It came in. Got my hands on the A10, but I don't have time to fly. So it's kind of pointless for me to buy a new plane when I can't enjoy it. I have nowhere really to fly it right now. But in due time, when things calm down. I don't want it to slow down, but just calm down.
Well, every weekend the weather gets crappy here. We had a bad storm here. What was it? Yesterday morning. It was terrible here, man. We had major winds, and now I think this weekend again is supposed to get pretty rough again as far as the temperatures. Windy. It's like it's windy all the time. I'm ready to do some flying myself, man. Get some things built, and get some planes in the air personally. But yeah, we just appreciate all you guys' support, man. I appreciate all of your comments on this case. It meant a lot to me to do it. I appreciate my wife's help on this because, guys, like I said, I couldn't have done this without her. I mean, she's amazing with what she can do with this machine and the CAD files that she builds. We had to call Dustin a couple of times to ask him a couple of questions with some things, but we worked it out. But yeah, she just did an amazing job because she's got hours in this. And, like I told somebody the other day, I was actually talking to Ryan the other night on Instagram. And I told Ryan, I said, Ryan, you can't ever put a price on your time. I mean, Ryan's got hours invested into what he does. He doesn't get paid for that, you guys. So, that being said, I mean, you don't ever expect to get your time back, but you hope to, at least gain something from it. So that's what we're here for, is to hopefully do something for you guys and build you a case if you want it. If not, I get it. I just appreciate the opportunity. Something else I want to touch on real quick tonight, guys. As I said earlier, my buddy at the field, Brian Brody, as a matter of fact, he started out flying the Carbon S Cub. He taught himself how to fly before he found us and our family of flyers at our field and our club. And Brian said to me tonight earlier, he said, man, you guys talk about new guys and new guys starting to fly. Well, Brian, hey, man, you're doing a great job. You look good flying your plane. Brian's already bought him an F4, a free wing F4, Dustin. And he's basically aspiring to fly that. I helped him set it up and get it all ready to go Sunday. We worked on it over here, and he's excited. And he knows it's going to be a while. But, guys, getting into this hobby is, you can do it as expensively or as inexpensively as you want. There's planes out there for all budgets. The Apprentice S, just to say a few, are planes that you can get. And then with the smart technology, safe AS3X, there's always new stuff coming out all the time that makes it easier for guys to get into this hobby. So definitely don't feel like on any of these shows we're excluding the newcomers and the new guys, because we want to pull more people into this hobby. We want to keep you staying in this hobby. My biggest thing that I would say to anybody, don't jump on planes like these. I know they look cool. I know they're awesome. Don't go jump on planes like these right to start with, guys, because if you do, you're going to crash them. You're going to walk away from the hobby. You'll never touch it again because you're disappointed. I get it. Nobody likes to start out with a trainer. I get it. I didn't either, guys. But you have to, because it teaches your hands, your thumbs, your simulators. Dave Marshall does a show on Monday nights now where guys are flying with these simulators. Get into that show, guys. Mm-hmm. Learn how to fly these simulators. Train your hands. Train your eyes. Then buy you a trainable plane that you can go out to a field and get somebody to work with you, like me or Dustin or any of your friends that will help you, buddy box with you. And once you learn how to fly those planes and using your simulator, you can move on, because you'll learn from people what planes are better for you to move on to next. So definitely don't rush the hobby. Enjoy the hobby. Take it all in and start out small and get bigger and faster. And you're still going to crash. We all do. Even the best does. It's part of the hobby. Hey, but it teaches you how to rebuild them and redo them and fly them again. That's part of it. So, but yeah, I just definitely, Brian, you're doing great, man. And I just want to give you a shout out tonight. And to any of you guys that are starting out in this, stick with it. Get a friend. Most of these guys that are in this community are awesome. We love to help out. We love to see new pilots come in, young and old. And so definitely, guys, find you a buddy to fly with, man. It's a great thing. And, Dustin, man, I got to get you here more flying with me, man. We love it.
Oh, yeah, because every time we get together, we have a blast, and it turns into a all-day plus time frame. Because I tell my wife, oh, hey, I'll be home at 5 o'clock. Here it rolls around at 8 o'clock. I come rolling in the door. She's like, what happened? I'm like,
yeah,
we're having fun. I lost track of time, right?
Exactly. That's right.
But
especially this time of year, man, the days are getting longer. You can fly better. Your plane looks good with the lights on at night. In the dusk of the afternoon, man. It's just, if the wind dies out in the afternoon, and normally it does, it's just the perfect flying time, man. And It just none of us want to pack it up and go home right then,
Oh, absolutely. And it's I've started to be able to fly more, but I'm flying the birds that make me stay on top of with my skill set, right? Because if it's like riding a bike, like you don't forget how to fly, but you lose that that sensory as far as like control and stuff goes. You lose that ability. It kind of dulls out, so you're not it's kind of like having a dull pencil. You're not sharp anymore, and yeah, like I've been just flying high wings just to keep that skill set up. And doing just like stall landings is the thing that I've really been working on with the Carbon Cub SS triple. Is it SS? It's the huge one, the orange and yellow, orange and white one. I always forget the name of it for some reason. But yeah, I want to get back out to the field and fly my jets, fly my Corsair, and just keep at it.
Well, that's right, and I mean, your prop planes, especially when you get hotter weather in the heat of summer, your prop planes are great, whereas your jets not so much because of the the density, altitude, and things like that kind of tend to stifle them. Plus, it's not good on your batteries. So your jets are more for early morning or late evening anyway. But your prop planes are great, and guys. I don't know about you, but that new OV10 from Motion RC is looking pretty nasty to me. I know Dustin likes a twin engine as well. So what are your thoughts, buddy?
I like it. And I know people probably rag on me because I said the same thing about the P51, and that at first I wasn't really like a fan of it, but like I'm one of them slow turners, right? Because we have so much P51s out there, and they do sell, so you gotta make what people want to buy, right? It's part of business. And the OB10, it's for the coolness factor, it's a 10 plus. Is it my cup of tea? No, but it fills those voids for me of multi-engine, and I can fly it at my parents' house, and that's where I currently fly at. So if you see my videos now, or the latest videos of me flying, I'm at my parents' house where I grew up at, so I'm lucky to be able to fly there, and that's stuff that I can fly there, and I thoroughly enjoy it because I don't have to go an hour to the field, hour there, an hour back, and plus all my planes are kept at my parents' place because they've got the room for it because that was my old shop.
Well, my whole thing is I'm not crazy about the livery on it, or the color. I like the airframe. Matter of fact, Dustin, the guy there at the hobby shop in Raleigh, Hangar 18, he's got one hanging in his shop, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's an Arctic camo scheme, man. And you know me, and it brings that plane to life, man. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I believe it's Arctic camo hanging in his place, and it's beautiful. So for me, the green on that plane doesn't really do it. I would have to change that color if I were going to get it. And I'm sure some other guys would too, to do their own thing on it. But the flight characteristics, from what I can see on it, look really good as far as easy takeoff, easy landings, pretty predictable, things like that, so.
Right, and Dave Marshall, you bring up a great point about real flight, and that's really where what helped me grow the most and the fastest as far as being able to progress from a high wing to a low wing and then like into jets. And to be frank, like I will spend probably no more than like 30, 45 minutes flying by myself on real flight. But then you started the Monday nights where we all get together and fly. And I stood there and fly for 2.5, 3 hours. And I apologize that I wasn't there last night, but me and Jeff were having a trial run with this. And then we had some technical glitches that happened, of course. Murphy's Law, right? But at least the internet now here is keeping up versus last week.
Yeah, definitely.
But kind of hitting on here is what I wanted to do, and Jeff and I wanted to do is kind of start showcasing some of people's flight videos. This one is from Shadow, and I say this because I love me. If you get me and Eric EQRC in the chat, you get us talking about B-17s. You can't shut us up. We're like two schoolgirls that are gossiping back and forth to each other. But this is to me, there we go, is killer because it's just being a chase plane. This is the Hobby King, I believe, but it flies like a big trainer. And when I first got this, I was so concerned of like, how does it fly? Because technically it is a low wing. And guys are like, oh, it flies like a trainer. But, I mean, I've heard that before, and it's a handful is what I'm trying to get at when I was trying to say. But no, not this one. I will only say that this could be a handful if it's gusting, I say above like 10 miles an hour. Or you really can't, there's no like rhythm to the wind. It's very random. I will say that. I mean, heck, you saw it that time, Jeff, when I flew mine.
Yes.
He's like, Jeff's like, are you sure you want to fly it here? I'm like, I brought it all the way out here, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, they were saying that they can't. Oh, sorry guys, my apologies. I got our video, our faces are in front of it, so they couldn't see us.
Yeah, probably ain't good.
But this is an awesome field to be at. 'Cause it looks like they've got pavement.
Sweet plane, man. That looks nice.
Mm-hmm. Like it's got the half flaps in.
Yes.
Hey, he kind of loses some scale points because I don't think B-17s flew that high an angle or turn angle. I'm just picking.
Right.
I'm just picking. It's your plane, fly it however you want it. If you're gonna go do a inverted pass and scrape the vertical stabilizer on the ground, be my guest.
That's right.
But then we had this was another one. I like it. I like the videos of chasing drone or chasing planes with drones, and North PRV really sets the standard high as far as that goes. But this is a looks to be T-28, and again another great plane to fly. I actually bought the Park Zone version because I thought, ooh, nice barrel roll. Thought I could do it and kind of save some money and still have the capability as far as the E-Flight. No, if you want a T-28, go ahead and just get you the E-Flight one with the retracts and the flaps in it. Mine had some issues with the gear. On the Park Zone, the mounts were not glued in too well. But hey, it's an easy fix and stuff happens.
That's right.
Then there was Mr. Randy with his 300. He just gets up and starts just getting crazy. Let's just fast forward it here. He's up, and out of there. Yeah, I just got your text, Jeff.
I didn't know. Hey, I'm just telling you what the executive producer's saying, man.
But like, what I love about these, especially when you take the camera and you put it on these planes, is you get a totally different perspective of the scenery, right? I mean, it's stuff that he may drive down this road or this location every day, but to be able to see it up in the air is totally awesome.
Well, it's like I did a video with my F7F Tiger Cat, and I cut back and forth from the on wing view versus the field view where I was standing. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool to have the two different views there like that, man. Mm-hmm. But that takes a lot of editing, man. I'm telling you, to be able to get two videos to correlate together and look good together.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, this is I'm pretty sure Randy is. Yeah, no, he is. He's out of Tennessee, because you can kind of. That's the Appalachian mountain chain there, no doubt about it. Then we've got Lee Davidson's Hanga. Wait, is Lee still in here? You got to be in here for me to show you video.
There you go. And look, the guys too that are in here tonight, Northeast FPV guys. Look, you know how I feel about y'all, man. These guys set the bar for video, man. I'm telling you, because between the chase footage that Simon puts out, the flights these guys, not to mention, the location doesn't hurt a thing where you guys are flying from, and then your music, the music they put into their videos, it's just got a feeling, guys. I'm telling you, your videos make me aspire to want to do better and to produce better videos just watching your content. There's so much we all can learn from all of you guys. And Northeast FPV, you guys rock, man. Love your content.
Mm-hmm. And so Jeff, just looking at this would be a good picture for if we could get our two faces and like put them in the window.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, look, and too, man. I'll tell you something else. Ray, he's been working a lot with Nate on Nate's channel and on Instagram and on Gooniac's channel as well. And they've been working, with this SU and putting Ray's afterburners in there. And I'm just going to say, if you pull up a picture of Ray's or Nate's SU with those burners in them, man, Ray, that looks awesome, man. I can't wait to get these in because that just really makes that jet look beautiful. And my MiG 17 that I've got your burner in, everybody loves seeing that at the field as well. So great job on that, man. You hit a home run with those. They're easy guys. They're plug and play, plug right into your balance lead on your battery. But yeah, that SU that you did, man, for Nate with the afterburners in it, they look incredible. So I definitely would love to get that picture up here if we could do that of those. Let's see.
1 second, let me get that up for you, bud. But
that's what Dave Marshall was saying. Yeah, we need our faces in the cockpit. That'll be killer, right?
It won't be like your standard.
Coming at you, man.
It won't be your standard. It'd be like if our wives were driving, and if Terry, if you hear that, apologies in advance.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But look at my man EQ here. He's getting his because I saw in the chat Wesley was talking about the B-25, and so he just got, I think they call it like the candy dropper from Hobby King, I believe it was, and so now he can drop candy or drop whatever would fit in there. Remember those old firecrackers where you would throw them on the ground and they would pop?
Oh yeah, the snapping pops.
Yeah, man. I wonder if that would work. I don't know if they would have like enough force or not. But I said, check it out. He's got two bombs in there.
That's awesome, man. That's nice looking. Very nice.
But I am proud of you for at least putting together the SU-30. Finally.
But you know what, man? Look, it's so easy. I mean, everything's kind of it is perfect fit and finish. It's actually just mocked up. It's not put together. Okay, it's just mocked up for tonight. So yeah, I mean, but it's so easy. I mean, everything fits great. I've just got to get everything, the burners put in it. But other than that, it's a simple airplane from what I'm seeing, just to put together. I mean, this is what comes in the bag. I mean, this is it, guys. I mean, a few screws and where your elevator shafts are. That's it. I mean, and a bind plug, because that is the binding fly. So yeah, I mean, nothing to it. That's a beautiful picture right there, man. That's a gorgeous plane.
Yeah, I have. So I just found this off of Google Images, B-17 wallpaper, and that's what came up. And I had it on my desktop, or excuse me, my laptop at work. And I would get so many people that come by and be like, "Oh man, like it create topics, conversations with guys like I had never interacted with." So it was always a conversation starter there. But my internet is having... Oh, okay, here we go, finally. The link I was trying to get was just being slow. So here we go. This is Mr. Guniak's SU-30 light fire booty.
Oh yeah, there it is. That's what I'm talking about, guys, right there. Lighten it up.
Mm-hmm.
That looks nice, man. I can't wait to get these put in there. God.
So, Dave Marshall said for you to check the ESC connections to the motors before you try and fly it. So maybe there is an issue with that. Just make sure those plugs are plugged in well.
Well, I know, I've seen a couple of people, they've had to reverse, a couple of wires because they weren't running properly or they weren't plugged securely. Dave, I will tell you this. When I do a jet or anything, man, I always pull mine apart. I make sure it's blowing the right way. and then I put shrink wrap around all my connections, man. Just say, I don't ever not put a shrink wrap, and I even do that on my prop planes, guys, just because you never know. But yeah, man, that SU with those burners on them looks incredible, Ray. You knocked it out of the park, buddy. That looks awesome.
Yeah, he's known for knocking it out of the park. He does it pretty often.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I'm sorry we couldn't get everything, hooked up for Ray tonight, guys. We were going to have him on, but next time, man, you're definitely going to be here.
Next week, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Lots of folks with the SU-30 had issues with the ESC and motor connections. In what regard, Dave? What was the problem?
I guess he was saying that they were reversed wrong, or they were reversed, or just lack of connection, maybe not pushed maybe all the way in.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking either they weren't pushed in or they were reversed, where you had to unplug one and plug it differently to make it blow properly. Is that what you're talking about, Dave? And like GB said his was perfect. I think I want to say Nate's was okay, I think, when they did his. I'm not sure. No, they were just disconnected, period. Okay, all right, cool.
Well, hey, that's no different than the Free Wing, the F-18s. Both of mine came that way, where the ESC wasn't connected to the EDF. And I go to plug it in, you're always hearing for the ESC beep to recognize the battery and the cells, and you plug it in, you get nothing. But of course you would get the receiver powered on because it's got a BEC in it. And I'm like, turn it over, and sure enough, they're not plugged in.
Yep. And my course there by Flightline, it was the same way when I got it, man. I had to make sure the ESC and everything was connected good, because it was not. So that's one thing on any plane. My MiG-17, same way. It wasn't even secured in the plane, which, some people would say, well, it's because it's Hobby King. Well, true, maybe. But it don't matter what plane it is for me. I go through mine with a fine-tooth comb, so I make sure that all those things are right before I fly it anyway. If that plane crashes on me on a maiden flight, it's not because I didn't go through it properly. It's not because I didn't check everything 2 and 3 times. It's typically at that point, it's out of my hands, and it's a malfunction in a servo or receiver or something. Just saying. I mean, I go over it time after time after time before I fly that plane, and I check everything several times. And that's just one good thing all you guys should do, period, because we can't count on China to make sure that things are perfectly tight. Or I go over all my screws, I go over my linkages, I go over everything. That's part of building to me, I guess. I don't assume just because it's a Free Wing or a Flightline or a E-Flight, I don't assume that it's right. I make sure on my end that I know that I've checked everything before that bird is maidened, period.
Hey, here's for EQ, talking about knees buff. I just found this picture just shooting. A little F-16 compared, I don't know how far we're talking about here, but just comparing to big old buff B-52. That plane, I think, would be a challenge for the manufacturers to make. But if they did it, that'd be one heck of a plane to have, a B-52.
Oh, yeah, gosh knows. Yeah, that'd be a great plane, man.
Could be pricey.
That's like the C-130, from Hobby King. That's a beautiful plane. And I've heard, like, Northeast FPV, they love it. They fly it at the beach, and it looks great. I mean, it's a very scale plane, and for the money, you can't beat it. It's kind of like my Albatross from Hobby King. I can't say enough good things about that, guys. I've never had any problems with that bird. And for the money, what was it, $239 for a twin-engine prop plane that size with lights, the whole 9 yards? I can't knock it, man. I mean, I know Kenny from Hangar 51 at one point had said he had problems. He wouldn't go back to Hobby King, but I think he did. I think he just bought a plane from them. But just saying.
Here we go, the picture again. I'm terrible at this, guys. This is the first time I really had to change and move my screen, so I apologize. I'll get my 10 lashings. Don't worry. I will say I'll show you all the picture again, but I will say if somebody came out with this, like with Jeremy so when he did the airliner and put the other two EDFs in it.
Yes.
If Horizon or Freewing made this, I would jump on this on a heartbeat.
Of course you would. Yes.
I mean, I would say that most of the guys that are in the Warbirds, really, who wouldn't?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, but here was the F-16 comparing the size to the Buff, and I don't know what the distance is here. Probably a few hundred yards at least.
Yeah.
In it, but still,
that's a big plane. Man. God.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's awesome about it is I saw this plane this past year at the air show, and they still have cables and pulleys to rotate the landing gear and deploy the landing gear, which is, I mean, you think about it, we're in 2020, 2019, everything's hydraulically driven, but still use winch and cabling systems to do this. Just use that mechanical advantage because this plane was, it was built back in the 50s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it would be epic if they got into the more different style of Warbirds. I dare to say, but
yeah,
I really honestly haven't had any big issues. The only issue I've had with Hobby King was I had some parts that came in from the B-17, and when parts would come in, I would buy them because you don't know when the planes are going to be in stock.
Right.
And so I bought $30, $45 worth of parts, bought an extra dome, some props, a landing gear servo, and 3 weeks went by, nothing showed up. Month went by, nothing showed up. So I called them, put it in a claim. They're like, all right, well, it takes 30 days, do an investigation. I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And so they did their little investigation. And then when that was up, I was like, all right, well, obviously it's lost. I don't know. I want my money back. He said, no, wait, there's another 45 days that you have to wait while we do another investigation. I'm like, and I started to get hot. I'm like, this is stupid. I was like, you're going to risk losing a customer over $45. I was like, look, I'm my morals and ethics are at the line. If I get my money back and they magically show up, I will call you guys and say, hey, I owe you guys, $45 back.
Yep.
And it got ugly. I mean, it's just because you're dealing with stupidity, for the most part. But
yep.
But yeah, it's all good. It's water underneath the bridge.
Well, I can tell you this. I mean, look, man. I mean, you've had an F-18. Several guys had issues with that. I have the F-4 from Freewing. I had issues on the Maiden with the elevator servo. It doesn't matter who it is or what company. I mean, they can all have problems, man. I mean, so at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, and nobody wants to crash a plane. Nobody wants to bring one home in a 5-gallon bucket. Okay. But there's really no way of preventing it if you don't know if there's going to be electrical malfunction in the air or brown or whatever.
Right.
My friend that I told you guys that bought the F4, that he's not ready to fly it yet, and he knows that, but he wants to look at it and just savor it. He brought it over here Sunday, and being that I know that the F4 has renowned for having a servo issue with the elevator, which is a 9 gram, it should have been a 12 to start with. When we started looking at his and checking his servos, and I put them on a tester and just let them run and do their thing, the elevator servo on this brand new Gray Ghost F4 from Freewing, when I hooked it up to this servo tester right here, guys. Okay, right here. Hooked it up and put it on just manual. Okay. You barely turn the knob on this servo tester right here, and the servo was sitting there and it was doing this like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Brian, Brian, get your camera out. We're going to do a video of this right now, and we're going to send it to Motion RC because this ain't right. So now if it was running where it just sits here and does this, it was fine. If I centered it, it was fine. It's centered. But in manual position, if you barely turn the knob as if you were moving the stick on your radio, it would sit there and it would twitch really bad. That ain't right, guys, and that's a problem in that plane, and they haven't worked it out yet. So he fortunately, as we told him at the field, had already bought the Hi-Tech Servo 12 gram to go in that. We're going to upgrade the linkage with the threaded rod. This is a 305 threaded rod right here with a better clevis and the whole 9 yards. So yeah, we've all done that in our F4s. We've all had problems with our F4s. We've also seen 2 go in at our field because of that servo on the elevator. So just a heads up to you guys, if you have this plane and you have not done the servo upgrade on that elevator on that F4, do it now, because you will lose that bird due to that servo. And I promise it's not if, it's when it's going to happen. Because they're bad servos, and that's a lot of torque. That's a heavy plane, and that elevator you're putting a lot of torque on that little 9 gram servo. Do yourself a favor, for a few bucks, pop that one out, put you in a Hi-Tech, put you a better rod, call it done, enjoy flying that bird, and take that load off your mind of wondering if or when that's going to happen, because eventually it will happen. It's not a matter of if, it's when, I promise you.
Yeah, just to touch on what Shadow said, yeah, the B-52 was the first flight was in 52, hence B-52. But it's amazing to think, as George Watch said, that B-52 it's scheduled to fly until 2050. So if it went to 52, that would have been from the first flight would have been 100 years. 100 years ago was a little over 100 years was when the Wright brothers flew. And think about how fast aviation, a lot of it due to World War II, progressed in that. It's pretty mind blowing. Once you wrap your head about it, because it's still in service, and it's been 67 years.
Hey Dustin, let me just answer. We got a question here, and it's from Pterodactyl 44, and he was asking about the E-flite F4. Now, I've got a video we shot last weekend, Pterodactyl, of my friend's E-flite F4. So this is not hearsay. I've got proof of it. I can show you. Ray may also agree with this, but that is a great flying F4. There's no doubt about it. But the nose gear is the weak link on that airplane, and as my video will show that I recorded just last weekend of my friend flying his, he came in at a perfect landing. He didn't come in hard on the nose. He came in, not really high alpha, but more kind of level. Soon as he touched down the ground, the front nose gear collapsed backwards and he skidded in on the nose. Fortunately, it was on grass, so it didn't really mess up anything. He popped the gear right back out. He flipped his gear switch, worked perfectly, man. Go figure. Mm-hmm. He's got a brand new gear and servo to put in that bird, but if you read the forums, that is the weak link on that bird. Now, that being said, the free wing F4, if you come in heavy on that nose, you're going to break that pin. That is the shaft pin for the wheel that goes into the servo. Ask me how I know. Okay? I have replaced it one time, and I have a few others. I've only replaced it one time because after that, you learn to land with a little bit of alpha and not so much like this or like this. But yeah, the E-flite F4 is a great jet, and it's not as much of a handful as the free wing because it's not as heavy in the air. But just beware of that nose gear. If you come in like this or like this, you're probably going to have a nose gear issue. So just be leery of that.
Yeah, I bought the E-Flight F4 when it first came out. I had some issues. Horizon helped, but it was just I guess like the first batch, at least the batch that I got toward our shop was just lemons. But when I got it to fly and fly without issues, like no server issues or no safe issues, because I was just starting into jets, so safe was very important. Heck, safe now is very important because it's like plan C or D when you have an issue. It's not a band-aid. It's there to help you, and if you lose orientation, and I did at one point lose orientation on this F4, and guys have told me, he goes, hey, if you're flying on a cloudy day with it being gray, it's pretty easy to do. And lost orientation, flip safe, so it has level flight. Rolled the wings just to see, if I rolled the stick right, if the plane rolled right, I knew it was going away from me, so I knew I needed to turn it around, and got it back on the ground and gain orientation that way. But it flew beautiful, right. And I flew it like half to 3/4 throttle, and I got right at 5.5 minutes out of it.
Yeah,
it's
a great jet, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It's just that nose gear, and I think even RC Geek Chris Wolf kind of leaned towards the nose gear being the weak link on it, just because it collapses backwards if you come in too flat or too much on that nose. You got to have alpha when you come in. So Pterodactyl, you said you're landing on a paved runway. Just be leery of that, okay?
Yeah.
And just order. You might want to order you just an extra nose gear just to have, because you'd hate not to be able to fly for a couple of weeks until you got another one. So why not have one on hand?
And really, any jet that has that same orientation of the nose landing gear, or even the mains, as far as how they rotate out that way, it is a weak link because there's nothing to back it up. It's kind of just free, sitting there in free space, if you will, versus if it's turned around and you hit it hard, because we all have a hard landing or bad landings at some point. The strut hits the actual servo body or gets pinned against it. So yeah, you may still like break the servo or something, but your nose isn't going into the ground and scraping up the ground and scraping up your phone or ruining your paint job or what have you. In that regard, it's just with those, you got to kind of be on your, I don't necessarily say you're on your A game, but you got to be more aware of it. I never had an issue with like the 8 flights I got on these F4s that I had. Just coming kind of high alpha, slow, and right before the mains hit, just give it like a bump of throttle just to ease that descent rate, and just let that nose fall. I pull the elevator back to keep that nose as high as I can, let it slow down, and once it pops down, it plopped down and never had an issue. And my field had some bumps in it. It did.
Well, I think the first time he ever did that with his, it kind of weakened it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went ahead and ordered a new one, and then flying it a couple of times, and then this last weekend when he flew it, and it just collapsed. And thankfully we're on grass, so it just kind of slid to a stop and didn't mess up anything. And he even said, well, it's time to put in that new gear, because he knew that one was already weaker after it had done it a time or two. But even still, it is a weak link, and so just be leery of that, guys. If you have it, but it's a great jet. Take nothing from it.
Yeah, and I've thought and tinkered around, and maybe some of you guys could chime in on this. I've actually thought about making some metal servo housings that either you could replace the guts and take your guts out of your current servo housing. If you had an E-Flight, you just take the guts out, put them into this new like aluminum housing. But I haven't really dug into it. It's always been kind of a on the back burner with that, because it's either I could make something work as you say, drop in units to where the user doesn't have to take stuff apart and reassemble it. But then you got the guys that, hey, they may want like a lower price point. It's like I said, it's solid in the back burner. Haven't done any figuring out on it or whatnot. This all came about with the Flightline Corsairs, because those chicken legs of a struts are so long. It's a big counterlever action, and
I've got to replace
one
of
a few.
Mm-hmm.
I fully admit it.
Yep, I've got to replace one of mine, as a matter of fact. I sure do, and it's just because I took a little bit of a hard bounce on it, and it just stripped the worm gear is what it did inside there. And I actually fixed it one time because sometimes those worm gear just jump off the track and you can go and take the servo apart, put it back together, and get that worm gear. So I did that one time, but it did it again to me weekend before last. And I've got an extra one. So it's just time to go ahead and replace it. But the thing about that Corsair, man, you got to take the whole damn wing off of it. I mean, it's a little bit of a job to do all that, but hey, it's what it is, you know?
Wild Bill, look into the lemon receivers. Personally, I'm a big fan of these, and Guniac's the one that turned me on to them. Is the lemon receivers that have the satellite as well. So if your receiver is somewhat close,
tell him to look at rcjuice.com. It's where Ray told me to go before too, because Ray deals a lot with them, and I think their prices are really good for the lemons. But it's rcjuice.com, I believe. I'm getting ready to try to find the card Ray sent me.
Yeah, and they're on Amazon as well. So if you got Prime, you can get them with like 2-3 days. Given because of the situation going on right now, it may be more than that. But it's a receiver with a gyro already in it. It's not the same as the Admirals. Admirals are made by Lemon, but there's a different software that goes through there. Oh, look, $5 off. I think it's like $5 off, like $50 purchase or something like that. So buy you like three receivers, and there you go.
Yep.
But what I do like about the lemons, and I think you can set this up in the Admirals as well. I just like the lemons because I know which dip switches that I need to set, and I just roll with it. But you can switch it off to turn it on and off. So if it's not windy, turn it off, and you really don't have nothing to deal with. But if it is windy, you can turn it on and off as your leisure. You're not.
Well, and I'll tell you too, if Ray can answer this question, Dustin, not to interrupt you, but if it's like the Admiral, and according to I think Ray and some other people, it is. You can, like I've got on my Admirals, you can make the knob on your DX8 right here can also work the gyro if you have it set up properly. And I have mine on a switch as well, and then you can turn the knob to adjust your gyro sensitivity while in flight, so you don't have to deal with the pots on the gyro in the plane. So that's another cool feature. And I believe, if Ray can chime in on this, I think the lemons can do the same thing. Is that correct? Yeah,
they can. And that the roller is like the master gain, so it does all three gains from your elevator, rudder, and ailerons. But Dave, you're talking about you've lost signal a few times. That's why I don't know if you use the satellites or not, but that's why I kind of tend to like to use the satellites, because you get an antenna away from the receiver, away from your battery, away from that electrical noise. And I've always had really, really good luck. Of course, do your range test, take the bird, have a buddy flip it upside down, spin it inside out, move it all about as if you're flying it, and just do range checks.
Yeah.
And that's why, like on my A10, you got two batteries in the front. I don't want to put my receiver up there because you got all that electrical noise with the batteries. So it's on actually between the two wings when they're folded back is where I keep it. Then I also have a satellite that's all the way up in the front of the nose. And that was a fun harness to make. It works great.
Yeah, and Shadow Ops says that he has the gain set on his roller like that on my Tyrannus, but I am the odd guy that loves the Emperor Sky. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Eric.
Nah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Eric, and it was like I was talking to Jeff about it. I mean, the big guys is Spectrum, Fire Sky, and I still hear stuff about Tyrannus, but I would love to get a freestyle, or I guess you may say race strong, because I like speed. Because where I work at, my family's business, we have a lot of obstacles, and I think it'd be pretty fun on the weekends. Because we got a warehouse, you can fly in the warehouse, fly out, go to the other warehouse, and keep on booking it.
Get you some FPV, man. Definitely.
Michael Raja, They do not. I know the Admiral self-leveling, or the like the panic mode where you hit the button, it'll level the wings out or level the plane out. Has the diversified, I think that's the right terminology, antennas where it has a 2 on it.
Right.
And they were good. I had like 2 issues with the Admirals, and I could never pinpoint and say, hey, it was the Admiral, or if it was like the location, because I would move it. And it was really weird. And then I was talking to Ray and turned me on to the lemons with the satellite. I never had an issue. They're the same price. They're the same price.
Hey, look, guys, we appreciate everybody coming in tonight, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just appreciate all you guys' support. Definitely go over and subscribe to Dustin's channel at Raven Rock Machine and Aviation. Hit the like buttons, do all the good stuff. You know, guys, we just all both appreciate everything you do. We appreciate you being here. Hope you guys are safe and well. Hope your family's doing good. This is
absolutely
bad times, man. I'm over it. I'm ready to get back to normal stuff. I don't know what normal will ever be again, but I'm ready to be there. But yeah, we just definitely appreciate all you guys for being with us. And look, guys, if you watch your friends' videos on here, comment on them, guys. I mean, everybody likes a comment. It makes you feel good. And I don't know. Personally, I don't think none of us are too big or too small to like a comment or to comment. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're the biggest, you know, if you're Mr. Beast with the most subscribers, comment on somebody's stuff, man. Just so they can, you know, it makes them feel good. I mean, and you know, most all the guys that I know here, we try to support each other. And just to read a comment from a bigger person makes you feel special and excited. So if you're going to take time to watch the video, definitely like it. Which takes the press of a button, but just leave a comment, leave something positive. Just say, hey, great video, enjoyed it, can't wait for another, something, you know, guys. Just make everybody feel good and share the love, you know.
Absolutely. And talk about Pilot Ryan, man. I have no Skippy's peanut butter. Matter of fact, I made a run last night to the grocery store to get me some, but I don't have none with me tonight, so sorry, guys. But I will be having a peanut butter sandwich after this because I haven't ate dinner yet.
And we'll be doing a Skippy commercial right after this, guys.
Dude, I should buy stocks and
No
skip
doubt.
peanut butter.
That's right.
If Sam's Club or Costco had it like, where I could buy it by the pallet, I probably would consider it just from like the cost of $1 per ounce. But yeah, guys, be sure to check check each other out. You know, we all feed off of one another, and you know, it's kind of we want this hobby to grow. You know, the hobby, dare I say, and correct me if I'm wrong, like the OGs, like Pilot Ryan and people that have been doing this a lot longer than I have. It seemed like the hobby used to be a lot bigger, maybe, and it kind of took a decline, and now we're trying to like get these people back in, because when I go to the fields, I don't see a lot of kids. I see a lot of people like my age. I'm 32 or older. I've always seen it. Always took recognition of it. But
thank you for coming, Bill. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Appreciate it, Bill. Let me give you a wrench.
That's like what I was saying a while ago, Dustin. I mean, like you take somebody like Pilot Ryan, you know, GB, RC Geek, you know, RC Informer, any of these guys, man, that comment on a video that I do. Guys, if you're listening out there, I can't tell you how special it makes me feel to know you took the time to even just glance at it, whether you watch the whole thing. Just the comment is worth it all, to know you took the time to click on it, because that really says a lot. So it doesn't matter how big a person's channel is or how small it is. If it's somebody in this community and you guys see them in here, and like, you know, Ethan RC, he's trying to go grow a channel. You know, we need to support him tomorrow night, guys, because I'm telling you, Josh Weaver, what an outstanding person to step aside and give Ethan RC, a young kid who's trying to make a go at it. He does a great job. He takes any spot he can find, especially after Dave's RC on Friday nights. Let's all support Ethan because, guys, I mean, it makes anybody like that feel special. I know how I feel to have all of you guys here. I can't imagine how Ryan felt the other night to have 500 or more people in a room. I mean, hey, dude, congratulations to you. Props.
Absolutely.
And then GB, you know, God knows the subscribers he's got. I mean, so guys, you know, the little channels, they want the love too, man. And it just makes them feel special for you guys just to comment, to let them know that you're watching their stuff or you just clicked on their video, man. And I'm not talking a heart. I'm talking say, hey, great video or thanks, something. Just say thanks, you know, to let them know you watched it. It's everything. And especially to us little guys, the big dogs up here, you know, you got the Ryans of the world, the GBs, the Boozers, you know, guys, share that love because I know me, I appreciate it. I appreciate every bit of you guys, seriously. So,
hey, I just saw we got Smitty back in here tonight. Thanks for coming out. You got a blue wrench. Just gave you one of my friends. But yeah, absolutely right, my friends. And hey, Farmer Man, I'm sorry if you just got in here.
Yeah, what's up?
I've been trying to keep a good eye on the comments and the stream, but you know, moving the screens around and kind of, I guess you call it producing. I can't look at it all the time, but appreciate everybody coming by. Yeah, Ryan, last last Saturday was nuts.
Yeah.
I think you should look. The best way to give away an item is a weighted wheel. A weighted number wheel. I'll never forget that as long. I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Ryan won't either. That's the funny thing.
Hey, and right when he does, we'll be there to remind him all over again.
That's right. And you look at somebody, guys, like you take Dave Marshall, man. You look how fast this guy's growing. Dave, you're doing great, man. And I mean, it obviously shows with your channel. People are drawn to you. You're charismatic. You got a great personality. Keep it up, Dave. You know, you're flying, man. I've got to get a simulator. I've got an old 6. I've got to get a 9 because I want to get in there with you guys, man, and do this some. I think we'd have a good time too. I got to get Dustin in there too because it seems like the only way we get to fly together now. Yeah, you're doing a great job, Dave, and keep it up, buddy. You're rolling it, man. I'm proud of you, buddy. So, you know, check out Pilot Ryan Media, guys, for all of your airplane T-shirts needs. Smart technology. He's killing the game. Check out GB's channel.
Yeah, because he's on tomorrow night. And Ethan.
Bill. Yes, check out Ethan. And then Hangar 51 Thursday night. Dave's RC Saturday night. Friday night. Then Pilot Ryan's on Saturday night. And then the Boozers on Sunday night. And so it just keeps going. I mean, you know, right. I watch more YouTube than I do regular TV nowadays, guys.
Yeah, Pilot Ryan did do a fantastic job considering all the BS that was going on in the chats. And we had the OGs that had kind of been with him for a while that were kind of trying to keep things tamed, muting people or putting them in timeout because they could not follow freaking directions as far as do not use emojis unless you... Dude, I was getting pissed for Ryan, right? I was getting mad for Ryan because I'd be like, in caps like, hey, do not use it, and like call them out. And of course they responded with the emojis.
With more.
Yeah. And I didn't, I didn't want to be that guy, but then I forget who started putting people in timeout. So I was sitting there with a button. I was ready to hit that button, right?
Exactly. That's right.
But
yeah, and then the trolls had to come out. You know, I mean, but hey, I think the moderators were on top of that too, which also goes to show what a great community we have here and how we've got each other's backs. I mean, you know, Ryan's having a killer show, and you got jerks in there, and you know, we're always going to have your back and pull people and put them aside and time them out. So that's what it's all about, man. We're going to make sure our guys are taken care of, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Because, you know, as anybody that does this on the weeknights, they know what goes on behind the scenes to make this possible.
Yes.
I mean, it's we don't just jump on here at 8:30. We jump on here like quarter till 7 or right at 8, and we because I'm the one that's doing this, but I'm always doing it at a different location. I'm either doing it here at home, I'm doing it at my hangar, or I'm doing it at work. And
That's right.
And the reason I'm doing it at home tonight is I had a diabetic issue last night, which maybe not work today, and so I wasn't there, or I'd have my machines running. So I'm a day behind. So I get to work this weekend. Yay!
Damn.
But
all right, man. We
also,
about ready to
guys,
wrap this thing up. We've
Yeah,
been
guys.
on an hour and a half now, or 2
Yeah.
hours actually.
Yeah, guys. So appreciate everybody coming out. Again, check everybody out for the new people here. Appreciate you coming out. Everybody got a free wrench, but if you go to that other Pilot Ryan guy, it's $49.99.
But wait.
There's
Act
more.
now.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Monday night we always have a good time with Dave Marshall again. Apologize we weren't there last night. Flying real flight, so it doesn't matter if you have real flight 7.5, 8, or 9. It doesn't matter. You all can go in there and fly together. Just go into multiplayer and just look for Dave's RC or Dave Marshall's name, Air Marshall, his name, and just click on it. And if it comes back where it has issues connecting, that means that somebody's already trying to connect there. So it only allows one person to join the group at one time. So just keep trying it. It takes a few times,
Yeah.
but keep at it. And then
Well, and guys are coming in and out, so you can kind of
Yeah.
slip in if they slip out.
and then Tuesday, us Flight Club, and Wednesday we got Ethan. Does Ethan
Yep.
did he specify a time yet?
I think he's coming on at 8 because GB's doing 9:30. So because GB has the Hump Day Wednesdays. So Ethan, I think, is going to take the 8 o'clock spot where Josh Weaver had, and kind of lead into GB's channel. So guys, let's support him. I mean, show the love
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I think it'll really make him feel good. I know it would make me feel awesome at his age to have these great guys in this community supporting him. So definitely drop in if you can, guys, and just give him a thumbs up and tell him you appreciate what he's doing.
And then we have GB, Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
GB Linden, and so rather Ryan,
Sesame
rather Sesame Street. Oh my goodness, too much. So where we at? Oh, Thursday. We got Kenny. Kenny is like an all-night special.
Kenny Marathon,
It's like
Hangar 51 Marathon, guys.
look. It's like, remember like late night TV where you had like Happy Days. I grew up like on old. I say old school, but I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, Samantha was hot, is hot.
Yeah.
Happy Days, I Love Lucy. Yeah, I grew up on all of that, and he is that guy. He provides all of that because he goes for hours
Yeah.
on end.
Definitely.
Oh man, and then Friday we got Mr. Days RC, which we never know if he's coming in or not.
Yeah, what time? And Dave,
Right.
why haven't you been here, man? I'm just saying. Just saying. I'm always at your show. Just saying. You need to get your ass in here, man.
Get your hurt ass in here.
Yes, exactly.
And then Saturday, of course, we got the OG in the house, Mr. Pilot Ryan Media. And Saturday we have Mary Boozer, and then on Monday we hit the repeat button.
That's right. All over.
Yeah, and if and the quick shout out to the Air Marshal. If anything, watch Air Marshal because of Amy.
Yeah. Bonus.
That woman needs her eyes checked. I kid you.
Yeah.
I always pick on her about that as much as I can.
Yeah.
Awesome. But appreciate you guys. You guys have a good week. Be safe out there. Mind your P's and Q's. And, just keep doing what you're doing.
Be safe.
Awesome, friends. You guys have a good night. And we'll see you next week. And we'll see you in the chats this week. Take care, everybody. See you later.
Get smart, guys. Smart technology. Check it out. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.